You ever get the feeling like somebody is always watching you? While this is very unlikely, it's actually a real possibility for YouTubers. Because when you have thousands, if not millions of people watching you on a daily basis, there is bound to be a few crazy ones out there. And sometimes this can turn deadly.
The relationship between internet personality and their fans can be a tricky one to maintain. YouTubers are expected to have a large amount of openness and transparency with their audiences, while simultaneously keeping their online life and personal life separate. Most of the time that balance is kept in check, but every so often a fan gets delusional ideas about the relationship with their favorite YouTubers. Today we'll be discussing the particularly tragic case of Christina Grimmie. But before we get into her death, I feel it's important to understand how someone could rise to prominence only for a crazed individual to take it all away. This story begins on YouTube all the way back in 2009 when Christina was only 15 years old. She started off as many did during that era, performing covers of Hannah Montana songs like Party in the USA. Because of her clear talent, she quickly became popular both online and in the industry, getting the chance to perform at charity concerts early on. What really catapulted Grimmie to mainstream prominence, however, was her time on the NBC reality show The Voice in 2014. As the season moved on, she quickly advanced through the rounds, building up an even bigger fan base in the process. With the support of A-list musicians such as Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber online, Grimmie managed to blaze past the competition and ended up finishing in third place. Despite not winning the full show, her fame would surpass that of the co-contestants in the following years, as she continued to follow her dreams. At the same time that Christina was rising up the ranks, now let's jump to the other side of the country to meet Kevin James Loibl, a man in his mid-20s who lived with his father in St. Petersburg, Florida. Kevin had very little contact with the outside world, only ever leaving his home to go to his job at the local Best Buy helping consumers buy electronic goods. The rest of the time, Loibl stayed cooped up in his room, with the shades drawn and heavy traps placed over the windows to keep any additional sunlight from getting in. Both his father and his co-workers described him as a hermit. All of his time not at work was spent on the internet, specifically watching his favorite performer, Christina Grimmie. Little did anyone know in his life that Kevin's admiration for the singer quickly turned into an obsession. While Loibl's family has said that they have no memory of Kevin talking about Grimmie, his co-workers tell a different story. Loibl would repeatedly discuss her music quite a bit and watch her videos on his phone during his breaks. His co-workers would often tease Kevin about his internet crush, to which he would get angry and defensive. As his infatuation grew deeper, Kevin started to feel like him and his crush should be together in real life. Feeling his looks were inadequate, Kevin received several procedures done in an attempt to impress Christina with his looks. He received hair implants, laser eye surgery, and even ate a vegan diet in order to become more attractive and be a better boyfriend to the singer. Kevin's Best Buy manager even once confronted him about his infatuation with Grimmie as he was beginning to worry. But Kevin once again got upset at the implication that they wouldn't get together. He simply couldn't accept that reality. Clearly, Mr. Loibl's obsession had become incredibly unhealthy. With such a poor mental state, he devised a heinous plan that would turn this story from creepy to full-out blood-curdling. As the official timeline goes, in May and June of 2016, Kevin purchased a pair of handguns. Then on June 5th, he returned a set of magazines that he had borrowed from a co-worker he was particularly close with, and told him that he was tired and ready to ascend, as well as to let him know that he loved him like a brother. On June 9th, he took a cab to Orlando where he had booked a hotel room, because on June 10th, he had made plans to attend a concert. On June 10th, Christina Grimmie had a great show in Florida. From all accounts, it was a wonderful performance as usual with a packed crowd. The only thing some noticed was that there was a man there by himself who appeared incredibly on edge and nervous the entire show. This man, of course, was Kevin, who not only purchased a ticket for the concert, but also for the meet and greet afterwards. When it was finally his turn to meet Christina, she embraced him with open arms. It was then that Loibl pulled out a gun and shot her 4 times, causing a panic in the crowd. Grimmie's brother threw himself onto Liable and the two fought for a bit, before Kevin managed to break free and shot himself as well. Grimmie was rushed to the nearby hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. After the murder, police searched Liable's home and hotel room to see if he had anything written down about his obsession with Grimmie. To their surprise, they found his phone encrypted and his computer's hard drive destroyed, although the reports of his co-workers made his motivation pretty obvious. It's worth noting as well that a few days before the attack, a series of social media posts surfaced from an anonymous user, asking how to get back onto the social media pages of a minor celebrity who had banned him on all their accounts. These posts went so far as to threaten suicide if the celebrity banned the user again. He then admitted to falling in love with the celebrity and talked about how he would give up on life if the affection was not returned. There is currently no definitive evidence linking this disturbing and delusional post to Mr. Liable, but the timing of them caused a good deal of speculation among the community looking for answers. As if things couldn't get any stranger, mere hours after Grimmie was murdered, her Twitter account simply posted the words, "The End." Her fans were understandably outraged by this, but the post stayed up for a bit before finally being removed. Her agent issued an apology and an explanation that the account had been hacked, but the fact that it happened so soon after the attack still left a few people suspicious, with some speculating that the tweet had been made by a grieving family member. In the aftermath of the tragedy, YouTubers from across the world mourned the loss of their friend, with many making videos sharing stories showing how good of a person Christina was, and how her death impacted them.
When a friend dies, it's so confusing, because that's not supposed to happen, especially somebody who's 22, like that's not supposed to happen.
This is a song by Christina Grimmie. She was shot at a meet and greet after her show last night. She was a big inspiration to me. I watched her videos and covers in 2009. She inspired me to start a YouTube channel. I'm so sad I never got to meet you and say thank you.
The case of Christina Grimmie is a tragic one, but it's sadly not an isolated incident. YouTubers have to deal with stalkers just like any other celebrities, oftentimes without the financial ability to hire personal security. To give another example, in 2018, a crazed fan by the name of Christopher broke into the home of YouTuber and model Meg Turney, with similar delusional ideas about her as the case we discussed today. He had intended to kill her boyfriend, Gavin Free, but thankfully the couple was able to hide from him long enough for police to arrive. Perhaps I'll cover this story in more detail in the future, but for now it just serves as another example of when internet infatuation goes too far. If there's anything to be learned from this terrible incident, it's that it's important to remember that no matter how much you may think you know about your favorite internet celebrities, you do not actually know them. Just because their channel gives you a window into their lives does not mean you're allowed to go through the front door.
It's been 3 years since Christina's death and there's still new information coming out. For one, her family just released a new song of hers in 2019, and unfortunately her mother died of cancer last year. But throughout all of this, there has been a lawsuit against the promoters of that concert where she lost her life. And even on top of that, we still don't know that much about the killer besides what I said in this video. So I think there's still room for more information to come forward some point in the upcoming years. And maybe we could discuss it more in detail then. And until next time, thanks for watching.